Hey, what's up everybody, it's DaYDreaMz. Welcome back to the channel for another Clash of Kings video. So guys, I recorded the final 8 of the Dragon campaign this weekend, and if you haven't seen it yet, I've got, basically what I did is I did the POT match versus NAG, Noble Assassin Group, Power of Thrones versus Noble Assassin Group. I did that match by itself, but then the other 3 matches of the 6 teams, they were all at the same time. So I kind of looked and seen what was going to be the closest match, and it ended up being an amazing match. Let me go ahead and go to the playoffs here. And it was between GOS, Legend of the Dragon, and the favorite in the match, 1GB Super Family. And it was a very close match the whole time, and as you can see, GOS came through. The other groups were not that close. AGH ended up beating VIP. It wasn't a blowout, but they ended up beating them. And then AAA absolutely demolished HMU. But the sad thing is for HMU, I think they match up pretty well with every other group in here except for AAA. I think they match up with everybody else evenly. Maybe they're a little bit behind GOS, but with 1GB, I think they can fight 1GB in a decent matchup. I don't know if they can beat them, but it'll be a fair fight. Same with, I think they beat NAG. I think they match up good with VIP, and same with POT. So I like how they don't just kick people out and go to the Final Four. They let the losers bracket play against each other. So let's start in the losers bracket. We've got NAG Noble Assassin Group up against VIP. I think VIP can take NAG if they still have it in the tank, if they still want to win it. HMU against 1GB, that's going to be a hell of a matchup if both teams show up. I'm not sure if HMU is going to show up or not, but if they do, HMU versus 1GB is a very even matchup, and that'll be a great game to watch. So that is the losers bracket, you know, for 5 through 8, I believe. So let's go down here and see who all NAG beat to get here. So they lost the POT to get into the losers bracket. They beat DaYDreaMz Clan. DaYDreaMz Clan solid. They are very solid. WAF, I do not know them. And 29Z, they are new to the playoffs. I do not know them. So they didn't have a really hard schedule to get there. VIP's schedule. They lost AGH, of course. AGH is solid, though. AGH is definitely solid. And, you know, VIP didn't get blown out by AGH. They just, you know, AGH had a little bit more strong Prestige 6s than VIP did. VIP beat KHA. Here's the big one. They beat LGD, the winners of last year's playoffs. Now, I know LGD weren't playing as seriously, but they still beat them. And LGD has a lot of strong players. You know, dozens of strong Prestige 5s. And maxed out Prestige 6s, so it's a good match. And GRS, Berets, Verts, I do not know them, so that's who they went through. Take a look at who HME went to. Of course, they lost to AA to go into the losers bracket. They beat QTR, the Gulf, a very, very strong team. Granted, the Gulf was missing their strongest player during the battle, but they did have Al Rayyan and a couple of the other guys. QTR first, they had at least 2 of their strong Prestige 6s, but they were missing at least 1 or 2 of their Prestige 6s, so but it was still a good matchup between QTR and HMU. That was in the round of 16. They beat Ice. I'm not sure who Ice is. And they beat Psychopath. I'm not sure who they are. And 1GB Super Family, very strong team. They lost to GOS in a close battle. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. Now here's where things get weird with the whole final 16. Here in the round of 32, 1GB beat CHA. Now CHA has like 6 Prestige 6 castles and a lot of big Prestige 5s, but they gave up and merged. See how they're from Kingdom 397? You can see here AA is from 397 as well. They merged with AA in the round of 32, so now they created this super team with 13 Prestige 6 castles and dozens of maxed out Prestige 5s over 100 million power. So AAA is by far going to be the hardest. You know, I don't see. You would need these teams to merge with each other to be able to take on AAA at this point. And it's really unfair. I think you should have your roster locked at the start of a Dragon campaign. That way, you know, CHA should have just given their spot to someone else or something. Alright, let's go and go back to 1GB. So they beat CHA, EOD, Empire of Dreams, never heard of them, and Castle in the Sky, never heard of them. But they look like solid teams 1GB took out. So let's go to the winners bracket now. Power of Thrones. You can look back at some of the videos I did on them. They've got some strong Prestige 6s. Not a lot of actual, you know, mid-range prestige-wise, but they have a lot of castles in general, and they do have some serious max prestige 6s. And they look pretty well organized, so they're going to be going up against AGH. They beat Noble Assassin Group, who beat DaYDreaMz Clan, so no joke, they're a good team. They beat Watson, another decent team right there. They beat LON, I do not know them, and they beat TCP, I do not know them. So that's what POT is going to be good. AGH beat VIP, so that's something to say. They beat number 1, I don't know who they are, but they spelled together wrong, and that's just embarrassing. They beat Rising Sun, Japan Pride from 1037, ding ding ding, that rings a bell. That's Ichi's Alliance, guys. That's what it was called, I think, before they now changed it to ICH or whatever. But 1037, that's Ichi. So they did beat AGH, beat Ichi, the 3 billion power max castle with Kenro and the other guy. They have a few, like 4 max prestige 6s over 100 million power, some serious beast. Well, I think Kenro and them are like 500 and 800 million power, but and then I think one of them is 1 billion power. But they've got a lot of big castles, so they beat them and they beat COC. So AGH are no joke. I mean, they got a decent resume here. And then we've got AAA. I don't think they've even been challenged yet. HMU tried. HMU's got some big castles. They've got Ken. They've got the ones that are in Chinese. They have Punch Buggy. They've got some big prestige 6 castles, and AA didn't even, I mean, HMU tried to put up a fight, but they weren't even able to. You know what? AA probably had the toughest ride to get here. They beat HMU, strong team. They beat Gulf, strong team with max prestige 6s. So, yeah, they definitely had some tough matches in the rounds of 32 and 16, but I do not know RBL or SU9, but AAA are going to be so strong, guys. If you go look at the video where I did the live stream of GOS against 1GB, in that video I show you AAA against HMU at about the 20-minute mark or so, because we were switching back and forth to see where the best battle would be. And when I go to AA, you will see all those prestige 6s together, 12 of them in the middle, 12 prestige 6s all together in the middle. And, you know, 12 prestige 6s can fill rallies, guys. Let's figure, if you got to miss a 500,000 troop per march, it only takes like 5 or 6 of them to fill a rally. So when you've got 13, that's all prestige 6 rallies. And I'm sure some of them, as big as spenders as they are, have some prestige 6 troops. So it's going to be tough to beat AAA. It's going to be real tough to beat AAA. If I was Ichi from 1037, or if I was the guys from ARA, if I were the ARA guys, the Arab guys, the next time there's a merger, I'd love to see the ARA guys merge with either QTR or the Gulf team, GUF, or one of the other like Gulf teams. I'd love to see them like combine together. Man, they would be very powerful if they did that, and they could probably take on AAA. But let's go ahead and take a look now at GOS. GOS took out 1GB. 1GB is so strong. Like, they just have these castles with over 600% archer attack, and, you know, they're very organized, and they do a good job rallying together and everything. But GOS had a good strategy. If you watch the video, what they did is they had about 6 prestige 6. They had like 4 prestige 6s in the middle. They had 2 at the bottom tower blessings and 1 at the top tower blessings. I believe that's how they had it set up, something like that. And they basically were constantly busy rallying, defending, rallying, and they just had a really good strategy. And out of all the teams here, I think GOS has the best strategy. So what I'm going to be telling you after I show you who they beat: TVB, Robber, no idea who they are; WWI, no idea who they are; and 520 China. I think they're good. I think 520 China was their hardest matchup. You can see, yeah, 520 China, I believe, was their hardest matchup, if they even fought. But you can see the 1GB super family went down 1.6 billion power. GOS was just destroying people in that fight. That's a good live stream if you haven't seen it yet. So what I'm saying here, guys, is I think the best match in this entire Dragon Campaign playoffs is going to take place in this round of 4. GOS versus AAA. I don't think it'll be the best match as far as like a close matchup that's going to be going back and forth and really good. It might be. If GOS wins, it will be. If it's not a close match, it's because AAA blew them out. GOS will not blow out AAA. They just can't. Unless AAs are completely dumb, which, I'm not trying to dog them out, but, you know, they did get blown out by LGD last season, and AAA had more power and everything. They just didn't have the communication. So, GOS versus AA, I think GOS has the best chance out of the remaining POT and AGH to take them out. I think that POT should beat AGH, but it's going to be a pretty close matchup, so that'll be a good match as well. And then NAG versus VIP, I've got VIP in that one, just because our homie Trouble's in that alliance, I believe. He's got a castle there, so we got to be rooting for them. You can see 472 and 478, they must have merged or something, and then it took them all in there, and they went to VIP. Then we've got HMU versus 1GB. That's going to be probably the closest matchup of this coming weekend. I think that match right there is going to be going back and forth. That is if HMU doesn't give up or 1GB doesn't give up. They had hard matches the time before. Well, HMU didn't really. They had a hard match with QTR 2 weeks ago, but they should be recovered by now. 1GB had to have spent thousands of dollars fighting GOS last night because it was a battle until the end. Just a hard battle. But GOS has the most skill out of anybody I've seen in the playoffs so far. As far as organization and being on point, all their Prestige 6s were there when the battle started. That was the problem with QTR. One of the fan favorites is that they just don't have that organization where they had everybody there at the battle. They didn't have little castles taking micro mines. You know, you need at least 2 or 3 of your small castles, like with under 10 million power. All they've got to do is send their 4 or 5 marches out to take micro mines the whole time, and they're gaining points for the team. So sometimes having a few weak castles is a good thing, because they can't be zeroed. They're not in that like 30 million power to 100 million power range, or about, you know, to where Prestige 6s can all hit you and zero you. They're not in that range, so if they do get hit, it's no big deal. So you need those to take the points, but QTR's problem is their Prestige 6s weren't all there at the start of the battle every time. Sometimes they'd have one, then another would show up, then another would show up with like 30 minutes left, and they actually ended up, well, they're not in the final 8, so I can't show you their record, but they squeaked one through against somebody, but then against HMU, Punch Buggy showed up and, you know, cleaned them up. I've got the video on the channel if you want to go check it out. It's HMU versus QTR. Just search it. I'm sure it'll show up. But you gotta have all your Prestige 6s for this Dragon Campaign playoffs, or you're just not gonna win it. So it's my little breakdown analysis. Some of you guys were asking who I think's gonna win it. That's what I'm thinking, but I need to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys already know it. Teamwork makes the dream work. I need you guys' likes on the channel, so that way we can get trending on the YouTube. People that search Clash of Kings will show up over there and stuff. I mean, we're pretty much, you know, people could find us, but, you know, YouTube's killing us these days, so help a brother out. I'll see you guys this weekend for the Dragon Campaign live stream. Peace.